All right, guys, welcome to the preview episode of the Left Side View with Rahul and Amitabh. So, Amitabh, how's it going?
All good, Rahul. Hey guys, welcome to our brand new episode wherein we'll be previewing the weekend matches. So let's get to it. In the English Premier League, we actually have a match tonight, Brighton against Crystal Palace. Again, not really to talk much about here. So let's see again, two teams who have been performing well, but again, Brighton with the home advantage. I think they are the slight favorites, but let's wait and watch how the match goes. Um, Coming to tomorrow's match, the first match, the lunchtime kickoff, Manchester City versus Chelsea. Okay, now as we are approaching the match, I am getting a little scared, quite frankly. Our performance have improved of late, but then it is City we are talking about, and perhaps more importantly, it is a well-rested and a healthy City that we are talking about. We have been having matches every 3 days since I don't even remember since when. But with City being out of the EFL Cup, they did have a week's rest, and I think they'll be raring to go. They also have the home advantage in the return leg earlier in the season. Um, People say it was a masterclass by City, but I somehow still feel that yes, they did dominate. But there are two aspects to football: attacking and defending, and we did hold our end of the bargain well in that match. At the end of the day, City won with a deflected shot, and somehow people tend to forget that. So I just hope that in this match, Tuchel adopts a more attacking strategy. I think we were a little mellow last time around. Even after our wins at the end of last season, most famously the Champions League win, in even in the Premier League, and I guess in the FA Cup as well. So um, we did go toe to toe with City, and yes, I mean, the jury is out. Maybe City were unlucky and stuff like that, but I really don't think all that matters. The fact is that we tried to, sorry, we tried to compete against City, and somehow we did not do that last time around. That was the most disheartening fact about the match that happened earlier in the season. Um, yeah, I'm looking forward to a great game. Rahul, your views?
Well, yes, so I think last we heard from City was that they had seven first team players out with COVID. So I think some of those players could be back as well. I mean, it was not named who they were, but obviously, basis the team sheet in their game uh, in the FA Cup, I think Swindon Town, I think that's who they played. Yeah, so I think one was Phil Foden. I think even maybe Ederson as well, the goalkeeper. But that's the thing, people keep talking about Chelsea's squad and strength in depth, but I don't really think that's the case because it's actually City's squad which is the best squad in the world. And the reason is that obviously Chelsea have a big squad, no doubt about that. But then there's a difference in class of the players who are starting regularly and the players who are not. For instance, what Jorginho, Kante, or Kovacic can do in the middle of the park, a Loftus-Cheek or a Saul or a Barkley cannot do. But for City, that difference doesn't come into the picture, whether it's De Bruyne or Bernardo Silva or Gundogan or Rodri or Fernandinho. So Grealish, so that the level doesn't change, which is the reason why even though City could be without a few players due to COVID or anything else, but for City, uh, I think at the same time, I think for City, it's like even if they draw, it won't really matter. They're already like I think 10 points ahead of Chelsea. So it's actually for Chelsea, which this is a must-win game. If Chelsea let's say lose, and then Liverpool will win their game in hand, then they will be ahead of Chelsea already. So they are already, even though they're behind Chelsea right now, but they do have a game in hand. But yeah, so Chelsea could end up third once the weekend ends. So this is in a way a must-win game for Chelsea.
Just one thing about City. Even if the players are out due to n number of reasons, uh, more importantly, I think the quality does not drop.
Exactly.
Like for example, when Chilwell went out and Alonso had to come in the team, we all could see that we lost something, right?
Yeah.
We had to made do with a player, no, maybe not at the same level. Not, I won't say level, but with different attributes. The team loses something with Alonso on the left flank. But with City, you take anybody out and put anybody in. They are such a well-drilled,
Yeah.
well-oiled machine. Everybody knows their role, and yeah, it is difficult to say that City are not the favorites for this match and the title overall. But maybe it is the blind supporter in me. But I am going to stick my head out, and I am predicting a Chelsea win. Rahul?
But yeah, it's really difficult, to predict Chelsea matches because as a supporter. So yeah, I will go with my heart. I want Chelsea to win, so let's predict a Chelsea win.
Yeah, great. Okay, moving on. The next match, a potential six-pointer, Newcastle against Watford. Watford are 17th in the table, just 2 points above the relegation zone. The match is at St. James's Park. Newcastle with their new signings, Trippier, and they will sign Chris Wood from Burnley yesterday, I guess. So, how do you see this match panning out, Rahul?
Well, yes, like you said, potential six pointer. I mean, there's one thing that I would like to say about Newcastle signing of Chris Wood. So it's a very good signing for them because not only have they strengthened themselves, but they've actually uh, weakened a direct rival. So Chris Wood has been their top scorer for the past 3 seasons. So this way, they've strengthened themselves and put Burnley in a position of jeopardy, which they already were, but without him, even a lot more now. And yes, even though Trippier started the game in the FA Cup, wherein they lost at home to low league opposition, but yes, I think this is probably something that's going to continue. Uh, it's two signings as of now, and I do think that they are sensible signings. I mean, probably some people expected or still expect them to just go all out and sign the best players in the world because they have the most money, but then it doesn't really work like that. Just because you have the most money doesn't mean that everyone wants to join you.
How much is Wood worth? 20 billion.
20 million pounds. They had to spend 20 million pounds. Yeah, for a 30 years
Burn,
old.
Burnley let go of their striker for 20
Yeah,
million. Okay,
yeah.
okay.
It's
Um,
good
uh,
money, no doubt. Like I mean, Chris Wood, 20 million pounds is a great deal. Like very inflated, in my opinion, the price, but something that Newcastle
yeah, but
needed.
again, the fact is that they have signed someone from Burnley who themselves are in the relegation fight. So I'm just wondering from Burnley's point of view, what made them cash in on Wood, and especially at this time of the season.
Maybe
So
what they'll do is that with those 20 million pounds that they got for a 30-year-old, maybe they'll sign three players, from the championship, which is what they usually do. They
yeah,
sign
yeah.
someone young from the
I'm,
championship,
I'm
and
I'm sure they
then
have some sort of a plan in place. Yeah.
yeah,
Okay. Predictions, Rahul.
2-1 Newcastle. What about you?
Okay. 2-0 Newcastle.
Okay.
Okay. Moving on. Now the late night kickoff is Aston Villa against Manchester United. Now I think this is a repeat of the FA Cup. I think that was at Old Trafford, but the venues has changed, but it's the same two teams. Now Villa actually played well in that match, and they were, some would say, unlucky to lose that match. Now that Ronaldo has come out and said whatever he had to say about the team's tactics and Radnick, and I mean, on the face of it, he has supported the coach. But if you read between the lines, um, yeah, there is a thinly veiled threat about what he would do rather to the coach, to the management staff, to the younger players. So, I mean, if he had to come out, it would have been better if he had shown his full support to the coach and add the players on with his experience and stuff like that. But he said bits and parts and said, I'm not going to discuss this in media. So why did you even start it? But yeah, pressure is beginning to build on Radnick, and yeah, there's this constant chatter of Pochettino, 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 and they are being linked to him in the summer. So again, as we have discussed it so many times, when the players know that the coach is out of, uh, rather the coach is on his way out, it is so difficult to command that authority, and especially with United being an aging squad, and the type of tactic he wants to deploy is fast paced, running a lot of running rather. So again, I somehow see Aston Villa winning this match. 2-1 maybe. Rahul?
Well, yes. So I think first of all, I'm not saying that Pochettino is not a good manager, but he's not the end all and be all. He's not the solution to United's all of United's problems. Yeah, like even if they sign Pep Guardiola, they're not. It's not like in one season or in 6 months he will just transform the entire club. But at least like if we are saying that about Guardiola, then just imagine about Pochettino. So, but yeah, that will be like taking the conversation in a different direction. But having said that, again, Aston Villa, they've signed Lucas Digne, they signed Philip Coutinho, plus Gerrard already has like a torrid or a rivalry in a way, because of his Liverpool affiliation. He's got this rivalry against Manchester United, and yeah, like you mentioned that they just lost to Manchester United in the FA Cup, but we also have to mention that they actually beat them as well 1-0 at Old Trafford, or 1-0 or 2-1 at Old Trafford earlier in the season. I think in that game, Bruno Fernandes missed a penalty as well when Dean Smith was the manager. So yeah, they are capable of beating United, but like you said, that this time out, I think so Al Ghazi, Enver Al Ghazi has left to join Everton, and Lucas Digne and Coutinho have joined Aston Villa. So yes, the fact that they're playing at home, even I have a feeling that I'm also leaning towards an Aston Villa victory, a 2-1 victory. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. We move on to the Sunday matches for the Premier League. It's Liverpool against Brentford. Now, if I remember correctly, it was not a nice experience for Liverpool to play against Brentford. I think they drew 3-3, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
So, yes, and again, a lot of it had to do with the atmosphere in the stadium. The crowd was buzzing and heading their players on, and their forward, Tony, I guess. Yeah, I mean, Brentford just relentlessly went on, trying to score as many goals as possible. And in fact, both teams, ditched defense after a certain point of time, and all they wanted to do was score goals. So again, from a spectator point of view, great game. But I don't think that sort of a game will be repeated at Anfield. I think Brentford should be more circumspect. But then again, I don't think it is in their philosophy to like Leeds, someone like Leeds. Maybe they'll be expensive and they'll again try to shush that crowd this time around at Anfield. Who knows? But they should start pretty slowly, slowly in the sense be defensive and just take blocks of 10 minutes or 15 minutes, pace themselves, and maybe then they should go out for the attack. But again, the kind of performance Liverpool showed yesterday in the EFL Cup, they are really missing Sadio Mane and Mo Salah, and there's just no one who's going to fill that void. Even and what happens is once a part of your game is a little weakened, somehow it has a trickle down effect on all other aspects of your game as well. So even the midfield looked a little jittery, even if they had a man more than Arsenal. So um, one of those off performances by Liverpool, but somehow the chances of them repeating that is pretty low. I think Liverpool should have enough firepower to take care of Brentford on Sunday. Rahul?
I have a feeling that Liverpool are going to win, but it's not going to be like 3-0. I think it's just going to be like 1-0 victory for Liverpool.
Yeah, same here, same here. They'll hand on to a victory, but
Yeah.
yeah, don't see them dominating the match as per se. Anything else you'd like to add on the match?
in a way, it is very heartwarming to see a club come from the championship and take the game to teams like Liverpool and Chelsea. Something that even and even City. In fact, I think they did that a couple of weeks ago when Chelsea were playing Brighton. Uh, Brentford were playing City, I remember. So even then, they only lost 1-0. But then it's just so nice to see, that they didn't hold back, especially at home. Playing against City, Liverpool, or Chelsea. And just look at the result. They only lost 1-0 to two of the teams and got a 3-all draw against Liverpool. Something that, even teams that have been in the Premier League for so long don't do. They just sit back, sit back, sit back. So yeah, kudos to Brentford for doing that.
Yeah, especially when teams come from championship, I think teams which have an attacking mindset, they tend to do well. It is the second season syndrome that is a bigger challenge. Um, so let's see. Second season is still far away from now, so we'll talk about it when
Yeah.
we get there. Now we have West Ham against Leeds. West Ham at home. Now West Ham, one of the top four contenders, and yeah, Leeds. I think they won the last time around, so should be a good match. But I somehow see this match as a draw. There you go. Rahul, your
Okay.
views?
I think West Ham already knocked them out of the FA Cup. I predict a West Ham victory. I think they need to continue in this race for top four, and Leeds again. Just don't know what to expect from Leeds. So they've been so inconsistent this season, still without a couple of long-term injuries. I think it's gonna be a victory for West Ham. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's pretty evident that Leeds are my second most favorite team in the league. Okay, on Sunday we have the last match, the North London derby, Tottenham at home to Arsenal. Now both these teams had conflicting fortunes in the midweek matches. Tottenham were knocked out, and Arsenal held on to a nil-nil draw at Anfield with a man down. Um, Two entirely different set of performances. But again, Tottenham at home. I think the best result Spurs can hope for is a draw, quite frankly. I know the crowd will be up for it, the team will be up for it. But, and yes, another important factor will be they will have one more day's rest. And again, Arsenal just logged for most of the match against Liverpool. So how many of the players, and they pretty much played their first team. So how many players will be, well rested? That remains to be seen. So that is one factor in favor of Tottenham. But a performance like that gives you confidence, and I think Arsenal will be up for it too. I see this match as a draw, quite frankly. Maybe 1-1. Tahul?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, sorry. Well, yes, I kind of feel that. Sorry. Uh, I actually predict a Tottenham victory, a 2-1 victory for Tottenham.
2-1.
So, yeah, 2-1 victory for Tottenham.
Okay.
For the simple reason that I think they've had one day more to rest. On top of that, like you mentioned, that Arsenal played with 10 men for almost the entire game against Liverpool, and they will still have an eye on the return leg against Liverpool. Plus, like you said, that it's a different ball game for Tottenham or Antonio Conte. At least Antonio Conte when he's playing in a league and when he's playing. I mean, he even got a draw against Liverpool at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. I have a feeling that it's going to be a 2-1. I mean, I remember that they lost 3-1 away to Arsenal at the Emirates under Nuno. But yeah, I think they're going to win 2-1. That's what I predict.
Okay. So that's it from the English Premier League. We go off to the German Bundesliga. We have Borussia Dortmund against Freiburg tonight. Dortmund fresh off their 3-2 victory last time around, a comeback victory. But I think, as I said last time, yes, it was good for that moment. But the fact that they were 2-0 down, playing pretty abjectly, especially in defense, that should be a cause of concern for them. And I mean, you cannot, make such miraculous comebacks all the time, and you cannot basically rely on them. Yes, you do have matches like this once in a while, but it's been a frequent fixture of Dortmund's performance this season. But having said that, this game is at home, so again, maybe their midfielders and the forwards will take care of the game early enough to make sure that they get all the 3 points. But yeah, the defense is still such a big issue, and there have been talks that they are now linked with Christensen, our player, and let's see how that pans out. I think they need at least 2, 3 players in defense to come up with the goods for a consistent performance throughout the season. Your views, Rahul?
Yes, obviously. I mean, their performance away from home is like so evident, for everyone. But then this time they are playing at home. Obviously they are second in the table, and Freiburg are actually fourth in the table. And yes, in their last match, Freiburg actually dropped points at home. They were 2-0 up, and then they also gave away a two-goal lead. Uh, so I mean, it was the opposite. Like for Dortmund, they actually came from behind, and for Freiburg, they actually slipped away. They let it slip. So and that actually happened against Arminia Bielefeld, the team who's like in the relegation zone. So yes, but yes, I think they've won like 8 out of 9 games at home, and the only game that they lost was against Bayern Munich. So not a bad reading. I think so. I think they're gonna win for some reason. A Friday night, not just one game, all the focus on this one game. I think they're gonna win. They're gonna win. Haaland is gonna score. It's something that again he didn't score against Frankfurt either. He got like some assists, but couldn't score. So he's gonna be kicking himself as well for not scoring for a couple of games, I guess now. So yeah.
Yeah, moving on Saturday, we have Cologne against Bayern Munich. Now, Bayern lost their last match against Hoffenheim, but it had a lot to do with the.
Mönchengladbach.
Oh, so I'm so sorry, Gladbach, and it had a lot to do with players out due to COVID and stuff like that. So, again, not sure how many of them are fit for this match, but definitely looking forward to a comeback of sorts from Bayern. I don't think they will lose or even drop points 2 games in succession. And yeah, even if this match is away for them, I see them winning this match. Your views, Rahul?
Well, yeah. So you don't you know you don't see Bayern dropping points in 2 games in a row. I know that they're without some of the players, and I'm not really sure if the information is available as to who is back or who's not back. But they will be disappointed, after the last defeat, and they will uh, look to right that wrong. I think Bayern are gonna win this match. I know that that even Cologne, they're actually just sixth in the table, so it's not like they are struggling. But for some reason, Bayern are gonna win. They're gonna find a way.
Yeah, moving on, we have Stuttgart against RB Leipzig. Now, Leipzig won their last match 4-1, if I remember
Yeah.
correctly. So, yeah, they're off against Stuttgart. Do you see another dominating performance by Leipzig, Rahul?
I don't actually. I mean, we just still. I still don't know. What to expect from Leipzig. So they managed to win 4-1 in the last match, but then under the new coach Dominic Tedesco, it's still not clear. Like, where are their strengths, where are their weaknesses. Uh, do they play well at home? Do they not play well away from home? It's just so hard to predict or preview match involving Leipzig right now. I mean, in a way, it's like we realize it now that how good Nagelsmann was for Leipzig. Like all these coaches struggling to match his intensity for the club. And I mean, yeah, like we went in detail last time out that it's more like these clubs don't even want to overtake Bayern Munich. But I mean, otherwise, if these teams actually wanted to, win the league or had any aspirations, then we would simply look at a game like Stuttgart versus Leipzig, and we would say, yeah, Leipzig are gonna win. But then that's the thing that even in a game like this, we are not sure if they're going to win. And on top of that, I think the situation with COVID in Germany as well. Some matches are, I think, taking place with a crowd. Some matches are, I think, not taking place without a crowd. Uh, I kind of have a feeling that it's gonna be a draw.
Yeah,
Anything that
you touched upon a point. We don't know what uh, form of Leipzig is going to turn up, and we've talked about identity so much on our podcasts.
yeah,
Clubs like Atletico, even Manchester United, Tottenham. So right now, I think the new coach is still feeling his way in, and even the players are still trying to learn what is expected of them by the new coach. So they do have this. Crest and trough of their performance. One week they'll do well, and one week they won't. And
I think
just going by that trend, I think we can say that maybe this is a game they don't do well in.
yeah. There's just one more thing. I think something that we already know that Tedesco was actually not Leipzig's first choice to replace Jesse Marsch. I think it was always Sporting Lisbon's manager Hardim. I'm sorry, I don't remember his name, but yeah, it was Sporting Lisbon's manager who was actually the first choice to replace Jesse Marsch. Something that didn't happen, which is when they went for Dami Tedesco. So Ruben Amorim, he was the choice, but he was like that. I won't leave Sporting in the middle of a season. I don't know. Maybe if it doesn't work out, they just keep hold of Tedesco till the end of the season, and then they again make a change. I won't be surprised with that, to be honest.
Yeah, okay. Let's see how that pans out. We spent enough time on Leipzig. Uh, the last match on Saturday is Gladbach against Leverkusen. Now Gladbach fresh off their win against Bayern Munich. So at home, do you see them as winning this one too, Rahul?
I think Leverkusen are gonna win. I have a feeling that they're gonna win. What do you think?
Yeah, it is difficult to predict against them right now, but yeah, let's see how that pans out. Moving on now, so there are no matches in La Liga this time around. The top teams are off in Riyadh playing the Super Cup, and the rest of them are playing the um, Copa del Rey. So no league matches there. And that brings us to Rahul's favorite league, Serie A. Um, on Saturday, we have Salernitana against Lazio and Juventus against Udinese. So I think it should be a pretty straightforward win for Lazio, with all due respect to the hosts. And for Juventus, now Udinese are a club that is bottom, I mean, in the bottom half, and Juventus did lose the Coppa Italiana against Inter on Wednesday. Maybe this is the perfect time for them to bounce back. In the last league match, they did defeat Roma, came back from 3-1 down, won the match 4-3, a classic. So I see wins for Lazio and Juventus. Your views, Rahul?
I expect Lazio to win because they are actually winless in their two matches since the winter, since they've come back from the winter break. I think they drew at home to Empoli and then they lost to Inter Milan away. So yes, this is the match that they need to win now. If they lose this one as well, then there's no hope for them in a way. But yeah, Juventus and Udinese. I think Udinese lost to Atalanta. But then I read that Atalanta were actually without a lot of players. Sorry. Udinese were actually without a lot of players because of COVID as well. Or in Italy, it's a little difficult. Like uh, Serie A officials wanted to postpone or stop some matches for a couple of weeks, but then the prime minister called and said that no, don't do that. Instead of doing that, just reduce the number of people who can come to watch the match. So I read even last week that Fiorentina I think lost 4-0 to Torino, and but even that was more because all the players were actually isolating till like one day before the game, and then all of a sudden they had to play a game. So, which is what the case was in a way with Udinese. They were without a lot of players, or the players were isolating, but then all of a sudden the next day the game was postponed and they had to continue with the match. So players not without a lot of training have to play at Atlanta. They lost.
It is actually in a saddest sort of a way. It is comforting to see that the politicians of other countries are uh, as enlightened as the politicians of our country. I mean, how do they come up with such strange decisions is simply beyond me.
Yeah. So, but having said that, I think Juventus, I know that they're a better side, but then they played till the extra time. So I still kind of feel like, even though they played for 120 minutes, maybe a 1-0 victory for Juventus. Yeah.
Yeah, on Sunday we have Roma against Cagliari. Now, Jose did say Roma had a psychological breakdown. Now, let's see where their psyche is at for this match. Again, this match is at home, and the way crowd reacts, the way the team reacts, the kind of team Mourinho puts out, all that will be so important. And I personally thought that Roma lost it. I mean, not the match, but the entire season last time around. Um, I Even if they win this match, which seems pretty likely, but again, when you are in such sort of a, for the lack of a better word, crisis, rather lack of confidence, I don't think any match is easy or any result is, out of the window. I see this match as a draw. Rahul?
Well, I think for Jose's sake, I think Roma should win this match. They beat Atalanta away, but since then they drew at home to Sampdoria, then lost to Milan away, and then lost to Juventus at home. So if they now drop points against Cagliari as well, I think people will start asking questions about Mourinho and his job. So for Mourinho's sake, I think they need to win. It's as simple as that.
And then we have Atlanta against Inter Milan. Now Atlanta won 6-2 in the last match, and Inter again top of the league. So should be an entertaining match, but Atlanta with their home form woes. Um, let's see if they give a run for money to Inter. Um, Again, what do I predict here? I
So
actually,
before you
yeah, yeah.
so before you predict, the corresponding fixture at the San Siro actually ended in a 2-all draw. So will
Yeah,
that have any bearing?
but again, it was Atlanta and it was away. So somehow, stuff like this should not matter, but somehow they do. I mean, home or away, form,
Yeah.
form definitely is a thing. But I don't know. And it is not as if the crowd at Atlanta is very demanding and, they create an atmosphere which is difficult for the hosts. Nothing like that. But it is just one of those things. And, like for Dortmund, winning away is so difficult. For Atlanta, winning at home is so difficult. And it's inexplicable, quite frankly. I'm going for a draw again. Let's 2-2 again. Yeah. How about
I
you?
kind of agree. I kind of agree. I don't think that Atlanta will win, but I don't think that they'll lose either. Yeah.
Okay, okay. We actually have three matches on Monday as well. The first one being Bologna against Napoli, the second one Milan against Spezia, and finally we have Fiorentina against Genoa. So, do you see the on paper favorites, Napoli, Milan, and Fiorentina to win the three
I
respective
think
matches?
I expect Milan to win against Spezia. Yes. Having said that, Napoli lost, I think, 5-2 at home to Fiorentina. So they need to bounce back, I guess, from that defeat. Obviously, even though they lost 5-2 to Fiorentina in Coppa Italia, but yeah, this is a different competition. But Bologna, right? Are they playing away or home?
Away. Napoli are away.
Yeah, I think Andre Britannia got on the score sheet. Um, I I think Napoli are gonna win. The question for me is actually the Fiorentina versus Genoa game. Is Shevchenko even going to be in the dugout for that game, or will he be sacked before then? That's the question that's on my mind. Already, a lot of questions were raised whether I think it was like if he lost that game against Milan last night in the Coppa Italia, he would be sacked. And Genoa lost 3-1. So, will we see Shevchenko in the dugout? That's my question. So, either way, I think if he's there, even then they're going to lose. If he's not there, will someone else come in and be and have the time to have enough time to work with the players for at least this match?
See, the answer is
Yeah,
definitely no. They won't. I mean, yeah, the match is on Monday,
yeah,
but
yeah,
I mean, it's just been a horrendous run of fixtures for Shevchenko, something that we
yeah,
have talked about frequently.
yeah,
And when you're trying to sign someone, you of course have the fixture list in front of you, and you have some sort of assurance that even if the worst comes to it, what the actions both the parties will take. And hiring someone and then firing him in 3 or 4 months just makes no
yeah,
sense. But
yeah.
yeah, again, my picks will be Napoli, Milan, and Fiorentina. I don't see the
Yeah.
others winning the match. I mean, in their
Having said
matches.
that,
Yeah.
I think if they do need to sack him, then they need to do it now, so that if a new manager can come in, then at least the new manager will have some time to sign some players in the January transfer window. If they do it, once the transfer window is over, then there's no point.
Yeah, it is still better that if give him a couple of signings, but then again, I mean, sometimes the decisions that these clubs take, as it is beyond us. So with that, I think we come to the end of this podcast. Again, thank you so much, guys, for your time. We'll be back with our review show on Monday. Till that time, take care. Bye bye.
All right, guys. Thank you.